Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. And he waiting on me, got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks, no chinchillas, baby, so what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand, give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Craze and he talks to me, keep my business out the streets, it's the ART.
Welcome to the show! And we are back on our 25th episode. We got some new people joining us today. Gene, right here. Jim Carls, for some people.
Jim Charles.
Jim Charles. And Johnny's here. What's up? The very handsome. Oh, by the way, happy birthday to Johnny's wife, Diana.
Yes.
I thought I was going to do it. My bad, Diana. He told me let him do it, and I just jumped in. My bad. Craze Boogie is still here.
I'm actually still here.
He's
I'm gonna give you a round of applause. You deserve that.
Benny Banks is still here with us.
Yo, I'm in the building. Yo, what's good?
And we are joined today by a big guest, a huge, colossal guest, Mike Law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That guy gets it. That girl gets it.
Yeah!
Yeah, you. I'll see you later.
Whoa. So for those of you who don't know, Mike is a professional wrestler. I wish my friend Rob was here, because Rob is into wrestling.
Yeah.
And he gets mad at me using that term.
Really?
Professional wrestling.
Yeah, he's into like Olympic style
He's into
wrestling.
like Greco-Roman, Greco style.
Greco-Roman?
Yeah, Greco-Roman. He's like Jordan Burroughs. That's a pro wrestler.
The fuck is that?
Like,
But the thing, what he doesn't realize is that, like, pro wrestling was at a legitimacy at one point before the carnies took over it in like the 20s, 30s. So the amateur wrestling itself has lent itself, from years ago. It became what we term carny or pro wrestling as we know it when they said, okay, we can make more money by having the same guy win over and over again, building them up. I'll be honest, I think it happens all over the place. I think it happens in boxing. I think it happens in MMA. I think there are fixes and all. Come on, dude. You know some of those fights. You see some of those fights in Pride fighting.
100%, bro.
Not in the UFC, though.
It happens all the time. It does happen.
I think the judging
You're
is
telling me
sketchy.
somebody's getting their face knocked in, and they're like, oh, cold, that's fixed?
Bro,
Dude,
You're talking about judges' decisions.
Both.
Okay.
I can say both.
Wait.
Have you seen
That's
Ken?
some good ass acting.
Have you seen Ken?
Listen to him.
No, I'm saying have you seen some of the fights with the Kimbo Slice and Ken Shamrock? And have you seen some of those?
I've seen Kimbo backyard fighting.
Okay, but there's MMA fights.
Yeah,
If you look at some of his MMA fights,
Kimbo and
you would think that like some of his stuff, like there were times where like Ken Shamrock could have tapped this guy out in like 30 seconds. And just, God rest his soul, Kimbo Slice, but I'm just saying, like, he died.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Why
Did I ruin that for you? He died.
You don't watch the news.
We talked about death a lot in
He
the
just
last
made the
episode.
list.
So, who is Mike, the Colossal Mike Law? Who is Mike Law? Like, is that the character? Is Mike your actual name? Or is it just like, Bernie?
Yeah, I like that.
Bernie.
I don't know. Might have to switch it after this episode.
Bernie.
Well, so what happened was, I've always had like a Napoleon complex. You know what I mean? I always felt like I should have been born at 6'5", 365 pounds. I would always fight the big kids in school. Like I was like a fucking bully, look, I was barely 100 pounds, and I was like 5'0", and I was fighting the guys that were bigger than me because I just wanted to. I always felt like I
needed to show you were more man.
Yeah. I still do. So, the idea behind Colossal Mike Law came when I had come back into wrestling. I was a promoter for a while. I was promoting, actual shows. And then
What is a promoter for our audience?
So a promoter is somebody who puts together wrestling events, promotes them, like, you know, goes out there and advertises, you know, does all types of media for it. So that's what I was doing for like 3 years before I got back into wrestling. Once the company that I was helping went out of business, then I decided to, you know, I still needed that fix. You know, I still needed that. So I started wrestling again. I had a show booked in West Virginia. I had 3 events that weekend, so it was like back to back to back. I'm going in now. Mind you, they had us on these match cards, which are like the matches themselves, and they're put on the website and everything. And I'm shaking everyone's hand. I'm like, hey, you know, nice to see you guys again.
Right.
Nice to meet a few new people. And one of the valets, one of the girls, I go up to her. I go, hey, Mike Law. She goes, you're Mike Law? I go, yeah. And he goes, you look a lot bigger on the poster. And I go,
Oh, damn.
and I go, you know what? I'll just grab my bags and leave, apparently. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Right.
So I said to myself, like, man, like, what's something that can encompass my mentality along with, you know, just my abilities as a wrestler? And I said to myself, like, you know, big. I always felt I was a bigger guy. You know, I always present myself as a larger individual. Colossal, you know, and it just that's what it took off to be, you know. And I've been doing it for a while now, so that's pretty much how it just kind of, you know, snowballed.
So this episode, I named it Bumps, Chair Shots, and the Road.
Oh boy.
First of all,
There's different type of bumps, no?
Yeah.
I was just about to say, yeah.
not that kind of bump.
Oh.
So what is a bump for our audience?
Okay, so a bump is a lot like judo players or fighters. A bump is the actual process of dispersing the impact of a fall when you slap out. So essentially, what you don't want to do, the major mistake with all trainees and anybody's or anybody in a fight, if you ever go in a fight and someone takes you down, your best bet is to try to disperse that so that way you don't get the shit knocked out of you.
Right.
But I say, like, so basically it's the act of being able to disperse the impact of a fall by slapping out, arching your back. There's a method to what we do. If there weren't, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I'd be dead. You know, they say that every bump we take is the equivalent of a 35-mile-an-hour car crash. You know what I mean? Like, so that's every time. So I mean, I've probably been over 1,000 crashes at this point. If that's the case.
So, Brock Lesnar does
You're making me
the,
like second guess it. Now I don't want to do it. Wrap it up. Let's go. I'm gonna get out of here.
so Brock does
Love,
a suplex. It's belly to back suplex.
Fucking Brock.
So Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar?
So if you
I know
took
too many Brocks.
Yeah, I know a couple
It-
Brocks.
I
It's
didn't know.
a common
That's a common name?
Brocks.
Okay.
There's the Brock from Pokemon.
there,
Oh yeah, he does suplexes too.
He fucking suplexes the
That's
shit.
true.
I thought you were gonna say like I know the Brock from Tremont. That's my boy.
I also know Brock from Tremont. He sells crack.
So if you took, he
Brock.
gave
Shout out Brock.
shout out to Brock from Tremont
And Brock Lesnar.
and Brock
If you ever
Lesnar,
watches
and the
this.
crack dealer. So if you took, let's say Cena took like 30 something, was 16? What was it?
That was like 16.
16, yeah.
16 German. Was it German?
It was a German suplex.
German
Yeah.
suplex.
From
Suplexes though.
Yeah, German
Yeah.
suplex.
So you're telling me if he doesn't do the bump properly, what does that do to his back?
I mean, still, even when you're properly trained to do it, it still takes a toll on your back. It still takes a toll on your neck, shoulders, and all parts of your bodies. The way we're taught to fall, the same way of judo players taught to fall, the way stunt action people are taught to fall. So that way you're dispersing the impact. They're really, with Germans are tough, man, because even I've taken them, and there's times where guys are just overpowered and just chuck you and like, oh, good luck. You know what I mean? And I feel like Lesnar's one of those guys that is like, all right, man,
He does not.
good luck.
Yeah,
Like,
Pretty much.
He
Yeah.
just forces you over.
Them
Just
across
try
the
to
ring.
land.
I don't understand
like,
how
whatever,
these guys
bam.
keep taking it.
So this is why I brought Gene and John on this episode.
Oh,
We watched Monday Night Raw together. These 4 guys right here. This man.
Yeah, I don't want
He's
He's
not-
Back to the Future.
yeah, back to the future.
Marty.
Back to the
Back
Future.
to
Just
the
came
Future
here.
is
Was
the
that Monday Night
greatest
Raw?
movie
Monday Night
alive.
Raw.
I'm here getting free hookah on Monday.
That's not a bad deal. I don't blame you.
Actually, what's your position on
Here we
the
go.
whole Brock Lesnar and Undertaker when he took the streak? Do you think that it was intentional or was just poor? He didn't protect the Undertaker when he slammed him.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Stay back.
Stay
The one
back.
L Undertaker got. Okay, the one L Undertaker got in WrestleMania.
I'm just saying, if I don't know what the fuck we're talking about,
Bro, at this point,
most likely the people that are watching this do not
I
know
think
what the
wrestling
fuck we're
fans
talking about.
would probably.
Small background story. Undertaker was undefeated at WrestleMania. He was gonna face Brock Lesnar at Mania, which is like the Super Bowl of wrestling.
Let's go.
And
All right.
Now you get it.
the script got turned in the ring, which means somebody was supposed to win, but it didn't happen that way.
Right.
So who won?
so
Brock Lesnar,
Okay.
which now we have the meme.
What's your position on that?
There you go. Could have asked it better myself. You know what, man? I think I don't know if it's gonna like. To me, a lot of people are gonna question it because Lesnar has legitimacy. He's been the UFC champion. I mean, he is a legitimate badass. I think if you had to give it to somebody, I would have probably. Yes, he's a great choice because of the legitimacy behind him. But I also think you probably could have given somebody younger who's probably going to be used for a longer period of time.
Right.
Like Brock Lesnar is a guy who's probably going to be around for the next 5, maybe 10 years. If
You
he
think
decides.
5 years? I don't think 2 years.
I think whatever the money says. I think he goes wherever he says, where the money. He's a businessman at the end of the day. He doesn't. And I get it. I think the more that I learn about that aspect of how this is done, I think that I've been more fortunate. But I think with him, he could be around as long as he wants because his injuries aren't anywhere near the guys who have taken those fucking suplexes.
Right.
I'll tell you that.
And he only wrestles like 10
And
times a year.
Exactly. So you're telling me that a guy who's getting, I think, $2.3 million or whatever it is to wrestle like a very, short schedule, he could do that for another 10 years and not have a problem.
you think
So I have a question.
Cena would
I
have
have
been
a question
more...
for Craze.
All right, hold
Undertaker's
on.
been wrestling for like 55 years.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has.
Since he
I
was
mean,
like
he's dead.
18 years old.
He only wrestles
Since
once.
like
though.
1982.
Well, he's been dead since
That's
he
what I'm
was
saying.
18.
Like
If I only had to
Yeah.
come out one time a year, like, that shit forever.
What, The Undertaker?
Yeah.
Well, we're actually referring to.
Well, he comes out
Brock
twice
Lesnar
a
in that
year.
one.
Yeah.
No,
He
I'm
does that
saying,
about
you
once
guys
a
are
year.
saying
The
that
Undertaker
he
should
has
come
like
out
maybe another 5 years.
whenever he feels like it.
Yeah,
pretty
he comes
much,
out
yeah.
whenever
I
he's
feel like
there.
he should
He's
come
iconic.
out whenever he
Yeah.
feels like he's earned it.
He's
did,
iconic.
yeah.
He is iconic. What was your question for me?
My question for Craze is, would you wrestle 10 times a year for $2.3 million?
Fuck yeah, hell yeah.
Sign me up. I want
That.
that.
Your house,
I'll do that
fuck
shit for
you
a
up
heartbeat,
every
dude.
day.
Hell yeah. I'm like, yay, boom.
I'll take a solid fucking punch of the eye. I don't care.
I will go
2.3 mil?
10 times a year to Rick's house and fuck him up for $10,000.
And that's his best friend.
Yes. Well, what are friends for, right?
What kind of
10,000.
friends do I have?
Do you think Cena
I'll
would have
just
been
hold
a
up the
more
sign,
legitimate
like-
choice, though?
No, because Cena's already been made. He's been a star for the company for the last 13 years. I think you need to put it on somebody who,
Reigns.
whether Reigns, I don't know if it's Reigns or
no.
I think you need
Not a fan of the guy,
somebody
Nice.
who the company's gonna build around. I don't know if Reigns was the guy because of the fact that he was already on his way up anyway.
Well, saying
franchise.
since you said a younger guy should have had the belt, who do you feel would have been the best choice? I know Reigns. I don't have no qualms against
Yeah.
Reigns.
He works hard,
he's
man.
He works hard, but I'm not a fan favorite of his. Should have
Said
been
The Undertaker.
should have been someone who
Undertaker's the shit, bro.
who's
Yeah,
like
he is the
in the
shit.
background,
That's why
ideally
King
like the
don't
guy.
I mean, I think they could have done it if they initially had thought about it with a guy like Bray Wyatt or
Bray
even not Strowman.
I love Bray Wyatt.
Ron
I like
Strowman,
Bray
yeah.
Wyatt.
I mean, I think
I
you
love Bray
have those
Wyatt.
guys
Bray Wyatt's
who
the man.
who have been around for a good amount of time that they have experience, and you could give them the ball, and they would be able to go another 10 or 15 years. That's where I felt like probably I could have been different. But man, at the end of the day, they're the most successful fucking company in this business, so I don't know.
Yeah.
They know they're doing something right.
Dude, that would have been a crazy bump with Bray Wyatt.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
Yeah.
supposed to be like that at Mania, because Bray's the new, not Taker, but
Well, not anymore.
In
They
that
just straight
same
destroyed
Taker-
his.
but they
I don't
fucked
know.
up Bray
Taker's
Wyatt's
fully
character.
hybrid.
Yeah,
Basically.
yeah, but they fucked
what
up his
hybrid?
character.
Oh, what hybrid?
Oh yeah, you don't know about Mick Foley. My bad.
Mick Foley, I know Mick Foley.
Okay, so they say that Taker and
He
Foley
just
played
stood up
along.
like,
Yeah,
yo,
he got
if
very
Mick Foley,
defensive
I know,
about
that's
that.
my
He knows
guy.
Mick
I don't know
Mick
about
Foley?
Mick Foley. He looks more like the Undertaker and the Bushwhackers had a baby.
I'm talking about the book. I'm talking about
Damn.
his style. I'm talking about his
Yo,
style.
guys,
All
by the way,
weird shit, you know,
by the
all
way,
that stuff.
I know a little bit about wrestling. It's just like anything past like 2001. That's like when I
But
stopped.
the Taker's before 2001.
I'm
He
saying
knows
like
the
so he-
Taker. He knows Taker.
like I know anything. up
Brock wasn't
until-
on. Wait, was Brock?
But he,
on?
no.
No,
I'm
no,
talking
no,
about
no.
the Attitude
My bad.
Era.
Dude.
He's only up to the Attitude
Yeah,
Era.
yeah,
Gotcha,
The,
gotcha.
That's when I
What is
checked.
it
That's when I
called? The
disconnected.
Ruthless Aggression came in. He was not in there.
So the producer and me just realized I have another show in my hand right now, you know, with John and Gene, a wrestling show. But let's talk about Mike Law.
Copyright, Craze Boogie.
He knows.
So, what was your first match like? You said you had those 3 shows.
Oh my. Well, that was recent. I started training in 1998. Thus the shirt, great since '98. I started training in '98. I was 15 years old, and man, I was coming up at a time that they didn't like the small guys at all.
15. Wait.
I started training at 15. Holy shit, my mom was going crazy.
You're training to wrestle at 15? What's wrong with you?
So I tried out initially for the amateur wrestling team in Christ the King.
Okay.
Left that school. I didn't make that team. Holy Trinity, same thing. Wanted to, do amateur wrestling because I felt it was going to help me in transitioning into pro wrestling. And a lot of the guys now, like you look at guys like Matt Riddle, you get guys with legitimacy background on them. Kurt Angle, obviously being the most well known. Those guys all had legitimate backgrounds, so I always thought, okay, well, if I do that. But I started training at 15, and man, it was just nonstop. These guys were like, you were either juiced to the gills or you were like fat, lazy motherfucker who didn't want to do anything other than beat the young guys up. And that's all that happened. I'd go in there and I'd just get my ass kicked for hours.
You were a jobber.
No, I wouldn't say that because I was just training. I didn't start wrestling. I didn't get paid until like 2001 after a few years of training.
So I'm sorry to jump in on this one, but bringing back what you said about how they were beating you up, it's a semi-known fact for people who are into wrestling that a lot of the older wrestlers, especially in the 80s, whenever there was a newcomer, they wanted to put like the beats on him. They wanted to beat him up. They wanted to try to get him to. They wanted to try to get him to quit.
Yeah.
Is that something that happened with you?
In the towards the '98, that stuff doesn't exist as much anymore. I don't think it exists at all. I don't think you could legally get away with some of the shit they were doing back then. Really couldn't, man. Like they were putting.
You still can. Don't touch in the sneakers.
No. I'm talking
some
about
of the
like
things?
going in there and like just them beating the shit out of you, like body slam, power bomb, taking forearms to the head. Guys that were like 500 pounds standing on your chest and dropping an elbow, knocking the air out of you. It was done to test you. You know what I mean? Like they were doing that to be like, all right, well, this guy's either gonna man up and come back, or he's gonna be a bitch and he's gonna walk out. I was raised, man, like not to back down from anybody. So I went in there, and I remember one time I used to wear braces when I was 15, and dude, this one dude just punched me straight in the mouth, and I remember saying like, out of all the fucking things, don't punch me in the mouth. I don't care. I'll do, like, dude, I was reckless back then. I mean, I get numbness in my hands sometimes now, which is weird, and I learned it's probably from like neck, my neck being fucked up for a few years. But like I said, don't punch me in the mouth. I don't care about anything else. Just like match begins, punches me right in the mouth. The piece of the side of my gum got stuck to the brace, and I had to pull it out, man. You pull a whole chunk of skin.
Delicious.
Oh my god! Yeah, and then me being a pro wrestler, I took it, spit in my hand, and put it in my face.
Okay, good.
And I was like, oh, if I'm gonna bleed, they gotta make it count.
Yeah.
So
You
for
took the blood from inside of your mouth.
Yeah, you mix it with saliva and you put it all over your face, man.
Put it on your face.
I think
It's a beautiful.
it's one of the greatest things
It's
ever.
good for skin therapy, right?
Yeah.
Any wrestler
Good
that
for the
ever
pores.
bled in a ring is because he cut himself with a razor blade. Most of the time.
Well, yeah, but then like I think nowadays because so many guys are like hell bent on making it more realistic. I've seen more incidents of it not happening intentionally than intentionally. Where guys just whack somebody in the eyebrow. Like
I don't feel like you can do that. I don't think that you can cut yourself anymore.
in the state of New York, you can't.
Vince doesn't allow it. He doesn't like color.
Yeah.
The owner of WWE. So when it happens, it has to happen because somebody slipped and threw a punch. Like
By
the Becky
accident.
Lynch thing, when she was bleeding and her face was broken, that really happened.
It took a right to was it a jab right to the nose?
Yeah.
Broke it right in half, man. It happens, man. Like I mean, my nose used to be straight, but I was wrestling in Delaware and I gave a guy a brainbuster. Now I'm giving the offensive move.
Right.
I hit the brainbuster. The dude's knee pops me right here, and my nose is no longer straight anymore.
Delicious.
Fans-
What is a brain buster?
What is a brain
A brain buster.
What's a
So
brain buster?
you basically grab the guy's arm, you put it over your neck, lift them up, and then you bring them down on their head. I mean, obviously,
Delicious. Again, on the head.
sexy.
Right on the head.
But it's one of those things where if you're not trained properly, man, you will like fucking paralyze somebody. There's no question about any of this stuff. Like, as far as the legitimacy of the actual movements. I don't get offended by the word fake because I think it's just ignorance. I don't think it's a person using the proper terminology. I think you can say all other things about it, but the idea of like, oh, it's fake, that means it's just not happening.
Yeah.
But in fact, it is physically from a physical standpoint.
So the problem with that statement is, yes, it is predetermined and choreographed to a certain extent, but it's not like we just mentioned. If you get dropped on your back or on your neck, and it's happened to a lot of wrestlers, you're taking a hit, and then the chops to the chest.
Yeah.
How do you like that? Does that feel good?
I don't mind those. It's
weird.
weird.
Dude, they get used to it.
I feel like this
They
is like a
get used to it.
BDSM.
Wait, do you
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like, because this is sadomasochist.
I don't
Bro,
really know.
do you get used to the
You gotta get
chops
used
to
to
the
the chops to
chest?
the chest.
Do you?
You gotta get used to the
I have
chops to
another
the
question
chest,
for you.
dude.
Besides that,
Okay, please.
No.
listen.
Wait. Do you
Answer
like
the
yeah,
question.
He did ask first.
Answer the
We're
question.
doing this in
You
the
did
really
ask.
fast.
Answer it.
He did ask the question. Do you get used to it?
Some guys don't. I'll tell you this: the hardest chop I ever took. I wrestled Adam Rose. He was from the WWE. That dude, I made the fucking mistake of going tanning the night before because I wanted to look good. I went tanning today, as you can see. I'm really lit up.
So why do wrestlers tan? That's enough.
Well, let's go. We'll
Wait,
get
let's
to
do
that.
this.
Let's talk about Adam Rose.
Wait.
Yeah,
Talking
Let
about
me tell you
Adam
That's a
Rose.
lot of questions.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions.
Adam Rose.
He bring the whole entourage.
Adam Rose.
So Adam Rose, this is one of his first matches after being released from the WWE. We go on there. He goes, "All right, I'm gonna chop you, and then you're gonna go around the other corner. I'm gonna chop you on that side, and then you're gonna go around." So it's 4 chops. Look at that. Fucking, I've eaten plenty of those. No big deal. I go to the outside. I take a swing. He ducks, chops me around the chest. Dude, I swear to God, I thought this man had lit a fucking candle on my chest. I could not believe how bad that stung. And I've taken chops from big, strong, like tough dudes, legitimate tough dudes. So I'm thinking like, fuck, like what was that? I'm thinking like, it's gonna subside. I'm thinking like, okay, the pain and the stinging that's occurring right now is gonna subside. He chops me again. I go, I'm not making it to 4. I'm not. Holy, like my chest was like, I thought he had busted it open. I've had it happen. I mean, there have been chops that have been so hard that your chest, because I chopped some dude so.
busted it open?
Yeah, dude, I chopped a dude so hard one time that his chest just bled. It happens, man.
Whoa.
Delicious.
So yeah,
such a colorful-
I
colorful
ran
episode.
back. I ran back in the ring. I was like, nope, we ain't doing 4. I'll take 2, but I ain't doing 4.
So is there a moment where you could like, bro, that shit hurt. The fuck is hell, man. Don't do it again.
I wouldn't bitch. I wouldn't, because I think
During the transitions.
Nah, man, because the thing is, like, unless it's something where it's unsafe and the dude legitimately, like, I've gotten caught in the tempo. Like, I was wrestling in Indiana for IW Mid-South, and it's one of A.R. Fox's guys. He's an indie guy, well known if you watch wrestling, but one of his students kicked me in the stomach, ran, and did a flying knee. And I'm the type of guy that I'll eat most of it because I go, fuck it, like, how hard can it hit me? No, this guy could hit pretty hard. He nailed me, and dude, I saw like a flash of white, and I go, and that's normally like a sign of like a concussion. So I've seen plenty of those guys.
So-
Sorry.
Again.
No, I don't. I won't bitch about it. I won't bitch about it. No.
Can I ask my question?
Yeah.
Please, he's been waiting.
Go ahead.
He's shaking.
Let's go back to the future.
What kind of insurance do you have?
Uh-oh.
Oh man, we have a little bit. We have life insurance. We have medical. We have dental. I think I have eye
Do
vision
you really
too.
have life insurance?
Just
They
in
kinda
case.
have
Yeah.
to, dude.
I mean,
They kinda have
he
to, dude.
has to.
Yeah, dude. You.
Wrestlers have
It
died.
could end,
Wrestlers
man.
have died in the ring.
People have died.
I'm not
Rey
arguing with you.
Mysterio killed somebody recently.
Sting got his
I'm not
neck
fighting-
broken.
That was not his
I
fault.
agree.
It wasn't
Yeah,
his
that
fault,
wasn't
but
his
it was.
fault.
It
That
wasn't his
wasn't
fault,
his
but
fault.
he still killed
Whose fault?
somebody.
Rey Mysterio did
Mysterio.
a head scissors.
I gotta
and
show
he
you.
He did a
had-
619.
It was
You actually see it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
actually,
did
what he
He
did
did
was,
619.
He died too, guys.
He drop
If
kicked
you
him in
keep
the
tabs
back.
on
For
people.
those who don't know who the drop kick,
So another
somebody
guy
jumps
died on that show.
and hits you both their legs.
So good.
And the
So
poor
good.
guy.
Justin, do you
The
keep
guy
track
snapped
of the
his
dead
neck
guys?
trying to. He got on the rope.
What was
He
the name of the
snapped his
wrestler?
neck on the
Yeah.
rope.
I have no idea. That's the bad part. The
Wait,
name
Rey
of the
Mysterio
wrestler.
did that to him?
Yes.
It was by accident.
But Ray didn't know the guy was dead.
It was
He
by
was dead
accident.
before he hit the rope for the
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Superman.
he
Why
snapped
Rey
his neck.
Mysterio?
Because he killed a man?
No. Shout out to Rey Mysterio. He is one of my favorite
utmost
luchadors.
respect, man.
And the guy that died as well.
That's Pedro Aguayo Jr.
The guy died.
Pedro Aguayo Jr. guys.
Rest in peace, Pedro Aguayo. And Conan, who was the promoter for the event, he knew the
most
for
it. Shout out to 619.
619.
Something about it.
San Diego.
And the guy that died. Shout out to him.
We just said that. That is Aguayo.
You guys were like.
It's your show.
Okay.
Fuck that guy.
So,
No.
I'm playing.
he's not.
I'm sorry. I don't know who
So-
the fuck you talking about.
I don't know what's going on.
That's
Let's
the fuck you
continue.
not even get to him because I don't even know what the fuck y'all talking
But
about.
he's dead, so of course he's not gonna get to him. Damn.
His spirit, man.
Spirit.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Oh, he's with us.
So, besides, and Owen Hart died as well.
Oh,
That was a
shit.
freak accident.
Hell yeah.
He was good. I like that.
Sting was partially paralyzed for a bit when he got the turned up.
He had a stinger, ironically enough, I think. I think he got a stinger from getting thrown into
on the turnbuckle by Rollins. Droz was permanently paralyzed.
Stone Cold almost got.
Stone Cold's neck got fucked up by Owen
Yeah.
Hart doing a pile driver.
Yeah. I remember seeing that thinking, like, that's not going to work.
Oh yeah.
Have you taken a pile driver?
Oh,
I mean,
fuck.
it's a lot
That shit hurt
of
my neck right now.
promoters don't like using that.
I can see why. I've done it. It's been done to me. I haven't had a problem with it. I think there's a lot of that going on now with dudes dropping each other on their heads, and I go, I don't know what the longevity plan is on that. I mean, like, I don't get it. I don't mean, like, you gotta be safe in there, bro. Like, you gotta be able to do this today, tomorrow, 2 days from now. Like, we don't have an off season. You gotta be able to do this. Like, next week, I'm wrestling like 3 or 4 shows in the next, and that's like back to back. So, yeah, you can go in there and make it look believable. Don't kill each other. You got to be able to do this every day.
Right.
So you wouldn't do the thumbtacks or lighting the ring on fire or some chair shots, which is the name of the episode.
I would never say never but it would have to make sense from a financial standpoint, and it certainly would have to make sense from like the
obviously,
storyline.
pay
The
them,
storyline.
yeah.
Like
Right.
just throwing yourself. It's not my thing. I appreciate it, and I respect the guys who do it. I know plenty of the guys that do that style. It's just not my thing, Like,
Getting thrown off a cage like Mick did.
Mick got paid pretty well to do that, so good on
That's
him.
like the ECW type dudes.
Yeah.
That was straight about blood.
So
ECW.
you like, do you with your family and significant others, do you like this? I'm doing a dangerous move. It might look terrible. Do you like let them know, or you just?
No, man, because I don't want to put it out there. I don't try to think about. It's weird because it could end like that. I mean, unfortunately, I have people.
Shit! Don't say that. Where's the wood? We're talking
it's
about
gotta
people
be wood.
dying on this show, man.
Is it metal?
Metal.
Oh,
It's
fuck.
like
Fuck.
wood in the
No,
bottom.
where's the wood?
There's wood in the
Where's
bottom.
the wood?
There's wood
There
in the
is
bottom.
no
There's
wood
wood in
in
the
this
bottom.
No, dude, that's metal.
There's wood.
No wood.
It's a
in this
metal.
song.
There's got to be some wood in
It's
there.
not metal.
Maybe that.
Still don't get it. Still don't get it. They still don't get it.
All right, let's
It's
go.
okay,
Okay.
right, whatever. We'll get to that later. So I
Yeah.
There you
do
go.
it for
Not
me.
yet.
Thank you.
Maybe later.
I don't ever think about it, man, because that's not the. I don't think in my mind, I'm just gonna be so dangerous. I'm gonna get injured from it. I don't ever have that mentality. I have my mentality. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna entertain the fans. I'm gonna get them emotionally involved, and they're gonna have a good time. I don't think about like, oh shit, this might kill me. There have been times like I've done TLC matches with the tables, ladders, and chairs. And I'm like, this is gonna suck. You know what I mean? Like taking a backdrop and flipping onto ladders. Although I don't think you ever see me fall off the ladder because I'm like I try not to do that. But I try to like at least make it where people are getting the most bang for their buck without me killing myself, man. I have to do this the next day. So
talking about close calls, what's the closest call you ever had in a match?
dude, shit, a few.
Just get gruesome with
yeah,
it.
we're-
Pick one.
Get
One
crazy
really,
with it.
Oh,
Get
man.
crazy
close
with it.
one.
I'll tell you right now, I took one of those belted back, a side suplex off the top. I was only like a few months in. No, probably
Off
okay.
the top?
Yes.
Off the
Oh,
top.
And I was
top
only,
rope?
I was,
Wait,
yes.
second or third row?
Top rope.
Top rope?
Yeah, third
Oh,
rope.
shit.
So I took a belly,
That's a cool one.
a side suplex. Sorry, I should say side suplex, side slam. I should say off the top rope. And I was only like a few months in, maybe a year in. Dude, I swear to God, I never had this happen to me. Everything went numb.
Oh,
Everything went numb, and I didn't know until like thinking back, I go, oh shit, I probably could have broken my neck. You know what I mean? It was one of those deals. And
So you guys didn't go over it like, bro,
no,
I'm gonna hit
it
this
was
spot,
different.
or
In 2002, now it's more. There is more of that unity. Back then, it was the Wild West, dude. Guys are trying to get their shit in. So that way, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen now, but I do believe that back then there was a little bit more recklessness. There wasn't the training. Now is way better. The schools now, there are plenty of great schools out here in New York. You know, Creative Pro NYWC, Creative Pro run by Brian Myers from the WWE, Kurt Hawkins. You know, it's just there's the training now is better.
shout out to my guy Kurt Hawkins.
Yeah, Kurt
I like
Hawkins.
that guy.
But there's plenty of like it's back then. It was just like, all right, you're going in there with somebody you never met, and you're gonna entrust them with your life, and you got 5 minutes to do it. And then the problem with that is like guys are rushing to get stuff in,
Right.
so that's where the recklessness comes in. And yeah, dude, I was constantly dropped on my head. I remember like in training, this one dude, I know he was testing me because he gave me what they call kamikaze bomb. It's like the razor's edge. You guys know what that is?
Yeah.
And they just chuck you.
Yeah.
So like the idea is to like let the guy go so he lands on a flat. No, this dude did it to me twice and landed me right on my neck. But the second time I got back up, he landed me on my neck. I got back up and I fucking I went at it because I knew. First of all, I knew from based on his attitude that he was trying to hurt me. But like part of me was like, all right, let me give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, okay, well, you know, maybe he'll be a pro. Is people here. No, man, he dropped me once. Then went for it again, and then part of me was like, why didn't I block it?
Why didn't I back up
Yeah.
here?
And the second time, he just that sucked because those rings back then, the rings aren't soft now, but they were crazy hard back then. It was It was a spring in the middle of the ring, so there was no like give. Yeah. And the ring where I trained was pretty much like a boxing ring that was converted into a wrestling ring. So if ever you guys ever boxed, those rings there's no give. So this was a ring that was once a boxing ring that they put a spring in just to make it a wrestling ring. But it was still a fucking boxing ring, guys. I mean, landing in those things were not pleasant.
And the ropes are a little different on a boxing ring than a
No,
wrestling
he did a full conversion. So there were 3 ropes. There were 3 cable ropes as opposed to 4. You saw where the 4th on the corners. You saw where that 4th rope would have been hooked. He just made new holes to put the hook through. It was still 3 ring ropes.
So let's talk about the character, Colossal Mike Law. Now, is Mike Law, when they hire you, like these indies,
Yeah.
do they say, oh, we need you to be a baby face, which is the good guy for...
Thank you for explaining that.
And then, or the heel, which is the bad guy. Do they, or do you have like a specific character that you love to go to, heel or babyface?
It's a curse, blessing at the same time. The reason I get as much work now as I've ever had is because I have been able to adapt to like whatever the promoter needs. I think that it's also detrimental because of the fact that, I know guys that are just they're a heel and that's all they're at. And that I think it lends a little bit more of like it's more believable when the guy can just be like, all right, I'm a bad guy, that's all I am. As opposed to me, where at times I teeter-totter, like I'm in like Canada, I'm a good guy, straight up. And I like it because they buy the merch. They ain't cheap. Fans out there are great.
We love you, Canada.
Northland Wrestling, shout out to those guys.
I love Canada.
I love Canada.
Okay. I want to. Oh yeah, hell yeah. They don't have Starbucks out there.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah,
Tim Hortons though, man. I gotta go Westchester to find Tim Hortons, man.
It's like a fucking shitty Dunkin' Donuts.
What?
He said it, but he ain't wrong. Sorry, Canada.
I mean, that's what it is.
I'm not disagreeing. I kind of agree with
Shout out
that.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons.
I fucks with it. It's just, I fuck with it too, bro.
Don't send a cease and desist, guys.
I love fucking Kennedy's Fried Chicken too, but it's not like, you know what I'm saying?
Wait,
Kennedy Fried Chicken.
They might shake you for that one.
Oh boy, he said something wrong.
I'm just saying.
Hold on a second.
Let's not this whole show.
Trying to cancel this fucking show.
Kennedy's fried chicken. The Kennedy's indictment is just as good as any fried chicken that you've ever had in your life, bro.
You need to get the fuck out of there. Man, the fuck out of there.
Bro, go to the Kennedy's indictment.
Have you ever had fucking Roscoe's chicken and waffles?
No,
What the fuck are you talking about?
nobody here has, except for you, because you lived in LA.
What?
No, put your hand
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's a West Coast thing, bro. We'll fight right now.
We have a table.
Yo,
so-
have you
We got the
ever been
tables.
to Sylvia's?
We got the chairs.
We need a ladder.
That's in Harlem. Sylvia.
So we got a match developing right now. I guess me and Gene will call the match. We'll have Mike Law reffing the match.
All right, I'm
I
okay with
want to be
that.
babyface. I need to be
So you said you adapt to either one.
I adapt to either one. I prefer, actually now, back, when I first started out, I prefer being a heel, a bad guy, because it was just easier to get a negative reaction. And, people are just naturally inclined to hate people for whatever reason.
The
because
more
you
they
could
hate you, the more they'll love you.
Yeah. And it became, in certain areas, it became that. It became like, oh, this guy's so good at being hated that they actually started applauding me. It happens at Capital Wrestling, which now I'm a full-blown face there. I prefer being a face for two reasons. One, I don't have to do a lot. I really just take a fucking beating and come back.
Wait, hold on a second.
And the other thing, too, just to...
That sounds like a lot. That sounds like doing a lot.
No, and I don't have to remember a lot.
I'd rather
What do you
not
mean?
take
Hold
an ass
on.
whooping.
What do you mean you don't have to remember a lot?
I just... In terms of, okay, so I guess we'll break the fourth wall. We're at it. We already did.
We already did.
Broke
Yeah,
all the walls.
Yeah. So
No walls.
broke the wall.
No
Okay.
walls.
Essentially, the heel or the bad guy is the person who will lead the match. Most part.
Holy shit, I've been watching wrestling 25 years. I did not know that. I knew that there was in-ring conversation. I didn't know.
Wait, is this
Very-
secret revealed?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we get blackballed now. Thanks, guys.
Oh, shit.
You wanna
I like
cut-
that.
You want to stop?
I like that part. I like revelation.
We'll cut this part out.
Yeah, edit this.
I
This is
like
for shoot.
revelation.
Next question.
Next
Next question.
This question, dude. Come on.
Okay.
Come up with something good.
So the heels
How
leading
many?
the match.
Wait, how many different federations have you fought in?
Oh shit, dude, too many. I don't know. That's too many.
Really?
I don't know. I've had so many matches. I used to keep track of them, but then after
But the belts, though.
the belts you
yeah.
do. I think the biggest one so far has been the ECWA heavyweight title, only because that thing's been around since I don't know, for 25
Wait,
years.
you had the
ECWA. That's the East Coast
ECW.
Wrestling Association.
Oh.
Not ECW. No, I wasn't that.
He
ECW.
got excited. He was like,
Oh,
No.
Who's your fight?
ECW was dead and buried by the time
I
I
didn't
got
know,
on
I didn't
scene.
know that the belt was still around because I would have fucking challenged you right now.
That title, was,
That's
the
the one.
IWGP title was actually really nice.
Yeah.
But anyway, as far as any companies, dude, I mean, I can say I wrestle all over the Northeast, Canada. Hopefully, going to be debuting in Europe soon, and in other parts of the the country and the world.
Can we be the roadies? That's the next question.
Hey man, if you guys can carry a big ass barbell in my merch, I'm fine with that.
Nice.
I got you.
Yeah.
I was
Where's
going
the
to sell
board,
the
though,
merch
bro?
afterwards. You want a picture with Mike? That's $50 for him, $20 for me.
I like it. I already like this deal going on.
As long as it's one of those nice exotic European countries. I want to be in Uzbekistan or something.
Actually,
Shout out Uzbekistan.
how do you feel about working in New Japan? Their actual promotion.
So I recently appeared on Ring of Honor TV, and I know they have a working relationship with New Japan. Man, I think there's more. If anything, there's more opportunity now. There's been since you stopped watching in the 2001 when wrestling kind of had that downhill turn. I think it's coming back up. I think you have All Elite, you have WWE, NXT, New Japan, Ring of Honor. You have so many options now, which is always good. I would love to perform anywhere, man, where one, I'm going to be valued as a performer, and two, where it becomes more than money when you get to that level where it's the money's great, and then well now what? Am I going to be the face of this company? Am I going to get featured? Am I just going to be just a secondary dude? There are guys that I know that they won't sign a contract just based on that, and they're good contracts,
Right.
but they won't sign because they want to be the guy, and I get that now. I get why that is important for longevity, because you use that to, when negotiations come up, and this is probably something else I don't know if I should talk about.
Let's
but
go. We're ready.
But the thing is with that,
You
it's
heard it here.
Takes
the
me
ritual.
over, bro.
They use that to leverage, and but that's any business dealing, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, if I want to go work at Burger King, I tell them McDonald's is paying me this, and you hopefully get more money there. I don't know.
So would you like...
McDonald's will give you more money.
Yeah, McDonald's always give you more money.
100%.
You're gonna get laid off. You're gonna get laid off. The fucking machines.
We go from wrestling to Burger King and McDonald's.
Yeah. All right, let's go back.
So,
We're good now.
so you would like WCW? Shout out to Wendy's. Word up.
Wendy's, yes. My
Wendy's
first job.
paid
That was
the
my
most.
first job. Was Wendy's.
Nice.
15 years old. Yes.
Yo, shout
That
out
is
Wendy's.
my coworkers are here, and they know I fucks with Wendy's. That's Daniel.
Wendy's also got the best
He's
burgers.
right.
Yes, we see it. Wendy's
Right?
right here.
No, dude, that shirt's making you look.
Rip.
It's because I'm wearing
There you
fucking
go.
Colossal Mike Law's
Whoa!
merchandise. That's why.
You're ready to go back to the
That's
gym.
why.
I like it.
Yeah.
He's wearing the Colossal.
Colossal.
Great since '98. That's
Great
when I
since
first started.
98.
Not
By
when
the
I was
way,
born, believe me. I'm a lot
I
older
want
than
you
that.
to explain this barbell right here. If we get a shot of
All
this
right,
shirt.
so let me tell you about these
This is
shirts.
not Gene, by the way.
It does look like
Kind of looks like I would have shaved.
Yeah, I look demonic though. I have no eyeballs. I have black eyes, so I look demonic.
I do like the silhouette of the
What's the guy that was the guitar player for was it System of a Down?
Turn around.
I wouldn't know.
Who
Oh.
was that?
Gotta
that
ask Gene
band?
the rock
System
band.
of a Down. Which one? What's
The
on?
guy with the black eyes.
With the black
Oh, shit, I
eyes.
know you're
Did you
talking
just describe like half the world?
No,
he means like
he means
The
like
dark
the.
circles
Yeah,
around
yeah,
the
I know
eyes.
you're talking about.
Well, the lead singer?
Y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about.
We have to Google
System
it.
of
We'll
a
get to
Down.
Google
There was
Yeah,
that band,
System
right?
of a Down. Yes.
They had this tall fucking weird dude.
The guy that look like Mick
Rebecca
Foley.
knows.
He's
Who's that guy?
What's his name, Rebecca?
Huh?
It's like West some shit.
You talking about Limp Bizkit? That's the lead guitarist.
Oh!
Hey, good on you. Good on you for saying it.
Shout out to Limp Bizkit. Fred Durst.
He was a
No,
big wrestling
no,
fan.
shout out
Limp
to
Bizkit
Limp
hasn't
Bizkit.
been mentioned
I
on the
take it
show
back.
in like 20 years. You can cut us a check. You're welcome.
Yo, come through.
Roll it.
So explain this barbell right
Undertaker,
here.
the Undertaker thing.
Do you lift that hard?
Hell yeah.
Is that your
Harder.
shit right there?
Harder than
So
How much weight is there, by the way?
well, that was I would say, well, on the barbell itself, the one that I bring to the ring, it measures like 6 feet wide and then 2 feet off the ground. It's fucking huge.
So how many pounds is it? I mean, I want to know.
I mean,
is
we
it
could
like
go
600, 1,000. What do you
I
bench
think
press?
I think it's like 2,000.
2,000
Yeah.
pounds.
Damn.
You already, that's what my
Yeah,
boy.
dude. That's why I just carry a barbell
Grace is 90.
everywhere, dude. I should have carried it here, but you know,
I actually, when he walked in, I was like, bro.
it wouldn't fit in here.
Where the fuck's the
Yeah,
barbell?
I don't think it fits through
Yeah,
the door.
it would not fit through that
It
door.
won't
I'll
fit
put
through
up a
the door.
picture of Mike in the barbell.
Yes. So the funny thing about these shirts, right?
See that shit now.
The problem with the shirts, the maker left out my name, so you don't know who the fuck that guy is.
Mike.
You're just thinking some dude with a
But
barbell.
information,
That's
did
all
they
you
say
do.
it's me. You just say it's me.
I just noticed
It
that
says
shit.
you. Yeah.
Wait, wait.
It's
Oh.
a jean shirt. It's a jean shirt.
Yeah.
You just gave Gene a jean shirt. that's not you. That's just fucking Gene. There you go. What does it say though? My
Barbell is bigger than
Bigger
yours.
than yours.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but
Nothing
they
like a
should've
little
had the-
sexual innuendo.
Yeah. I think he should have had the Mike Law signature somewhere.
I agree.
Or like on the barbell.
Is
You
it
would
on the back?
think. You would think when I put it on the initial.
Well, what does this one say? I mean, this one's in. What is that?
I mean, this could say Mike Law's a fucking asshole. I don't know. But it's supposed to say Colossal Mike Law on it in Japanese.
Nah,
I don't know if it says
Mike,
that.
I think they ripped
To
you
all
off.
my Japanese
That's promotion.
fans,
That's promotion for their shops. They wrote their
yeah,
name on the shop.
maybe yeah. DM me.
What's
Let
the
me know
name
what it
of
says.
the Simpson character?
So that Mr.
Not
Sparkles.
you, Siri.
Mr. Sparkle.
Yeah. Don't Miss Siri doesn't know. I know about that. Mr. Sparkles. This is my Mr. Sparkles inspired shirt with the barbell. People get it to me because of the hair and all that, but the fact that my name is also not on this is quite alarming.
I mean, it is. It's like this little line right here.
Nah, I read Japanese, man. That says fuck Mike Law, man.
I knew it. And you know what? And they're right.
So essentially, I'm the only one wearing actual Mike Law merch. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Gene and Ben
Whoa.
are wearing
Yeah.
shirts. Even you're wearing. We don't even know.
I like it because I like
He likes that
turquoise.
shirt.
I like the shirt. I like the
Yeah,
turquoise.
that's a lot
Cool
color.
shirt,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude,
I
this
like
sold.
that.
I'll be honest.
like
This
that
sold
too.
out really quick.
Miami colors. So like,
That's
if you
true, that's
got
like South
some,
Beach.
yeah, South Beach, yeah.
It works with your tan.
There you go.
Oh,
I was about to say that.
damn. Now we got to get back to the tan. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I went
Why
tanning
do
for this.
wrestlers have tan? Mean tans too.
Yeah,
Like
got.
Hogan.
So
What's up?
Austin Aries, if you guys know who that is,
Yes.
Impact,
I know
WWE.
Austin.
Austin Aries, the best, I mean, not that he owes me anything, because you know he's a fucking star. But the big thing with him was when we met at a show in Staten Island. He goes, I'm thinking like, oh, this guy's gonna put over that I'm a good wrestler and like he was for my match, good shit. He goes, hey bud, nice tan. I was like, oh. That's it. You know, I was like, hey, what else? No, but it was. I do have a nice tan. If I do say so myself.
What tanning bed do you fucking use, bro?
Dude, I use the regular Planet Fitness lay down bed.
Yeah.
$10 a month?
20.
$20?
I don't cheap out. I don't cheap out of my tanning.
There's tanning fees, all right?
There's two questions.
It's 40 every
Wait,
6
is
months.
there?
It's 40 every 6 months.
Time out. That's the first question. Is there tanning fees in Planet Fitness?
That's the first one.
No.
Second one, I didn't know there was tanning beds.
Oh, hell yeah.
Where? What fucking Planet Fitness do you go to?
The one right there. 177.
See that room that looks like a
I
locker
don't
room?
know.
You know,
It's
yo,
not
they're
like-
right by the
Yeah,
massage
they're
chair.
in there.
They're right by the massage chair.
Yes.
I'm just gonna hit up.
You get a massage and you go tan right afterwards.
Now, is there like a
Never
trying to
seen
set talking about tan? So people trying to set the bar who can top Hulk Hogan?
Oh my God,
He has
no.
that nice
That
hot
guy.
dog
Hot
skin.
dog
skin.
He has that nice hot dog skin.
Is hot dog skin the max that you can go
Is that?
in
Can
tanning?
you go further?
I feel like I one time came out like a smoked sausage, and so I think there is a possibility
Spicy?
to do it more.
Wow.
So we're like so at that time was your name Colossal Sausage Mike?
Or call it a chorizo, Mike.
So the tan, by the way, for the audiences, wrestlers tan themselves. So if I slap Mike on the chest, you'll notice the...
No. Isn't that the oil?
No.
No.
Oh my
No.
God.
No, I,
It's so you can see the impact of, like if you chop in Ric Flair on the...
It's more the muscle thing, no?
I don't have no...
Well, I'll let you guys in. I'll let you in.
Let us in
Maybe,
on-
maybe
We
the
got a
guy,
wrestler here.
maybe the
Yeah,
guy who's
yeah.
the wrestler might let you know why wrestlers
You
can.
just don't want to take guesses before.
Because right now,
Can I
I
take a
just
guess?
realized I'm his new manager. I'm the mouthpiece. I'll be his Paul Heyman. And I'm the one that's going to be talking. He just got to stand there. That's it.
And move around.
Does anybody else have any?
I have one guess.
There it is.
Well, it's lame. I know it's gonna be lame, but is it so it could so your muscles show more?
That's like
That's a
That's
partial
why
reason.
Gene does it.
That is
Yeah, believe it or not, this is a 10.
yeah.
Planet Fitness.
That is a part of the
All
reason
day, every
is
day.
that I forget. I want to say Superstar Billy Graham, but tanning came into like that era when we're like based out of Hollywood. Hollywood people would tan just to like
Oh,
have
the
that
blonde
that
hair
look
yeah,
of like
okay.
being healthy, whatever. So that transition to
Right.
wrestling under like guys like Superstar
So
Billy
now
Graham.
for me to be healthy, I got to be tanned.
No. In fact, it's probably not healthy. Guys, do not tan. I'll be dead in 10 years, pretty much.
Shit, Mike. Again, why
But
are
you
we
look
bringing
good
this?
doing it.
Bringing the
I'm
death
not
back.
done wood. I'm not done wood.
I've come to
Fuck,
I've
man.
come to this realization.
In your job, you put your life in somebody else's hands, like 4 or 5 times a week. You can't be saying statements like that, Mike.
Fair enough. So yeah, no, that
If I
and
have
I,
to wrestle this guy for, I'll
oh
be
my
dead
goodness,
already.
it'd be tough. But I think a lot of times too, it's just for cameras, man. I like you look. It just gives you an extra appeal on camera when you like it just you look like brighter. It gives you a better look. A lot of
Glow.
times, yeah, glow. There you go.
Like a pregnant.
I
Pregnant
apparently,
glow.
I apparently couldn't get that out of my mouth. The term glow. So yeah.
Pregnant glow.
And I feel like it has your bruises,
But you're
right?
not
'Cause you
pregnant.
guys, when you guys hit yourself, you guys get marked really hard. It just doesn't show.
Look at
because-
Sheamus. I mean, like that dude's a tough dude,
Dude.
but
He
you
looks
see the
red.
bruising on
He
him.
looks
All
red.
his bruising, yeah.
Yeah, he's a tough dude.
Especially when you slap on the chest.
Who's
you
the
can see that
who's the
mark right
like the one of the biggest names that you've wrestled with, or in a card
There's
with?
been few. Well, that's a lot because I've
Adam
wrestled.
Rose. You
Adam Rose is
mentioned.
one.
Yeah, you
Tito
mentioned Adam
Santana.
Whoa.
I wrestled Tito. But
there.
I
He had
I
a score,
wrestled
had that
Tito. Dude, I was not. I should never have been able to wrestle Tito because it's gonna get weird. All right, so I was only a few years in. No, you'll see why.
I just got scared.
And no. Tito's a good dude. Shout out to Tito.
Shout out
Tito
to
Santana.
Tito.
No, Tito.
Hall of Famer.
Tito. It was weird because I think somebody put in the word for me to wrestle him when I didn't. I shouldn't have wrestled him. I was way too young. I wasn't like at a
No,
level.
fuck that. You were ready. Tito, you meant your match.
No, but Tito
You
goes.
can't
to
be modest, man.
Tito. No, well now I'll take him. I don't care. Now this is a different ball game. Tito goes to me, and mind you, I wasn't wrestling with boots. I'm a short guy. I mean, crazy, right? A guy named Colossal Short, right? So he goes up to. I go up to him. Hey, Tito, Mike, nice to meet you. He goes, oh, where's your partner? I go, no, it's just me. He goes, he threw his hands in the air like he was pissed because he's a tall dude and he came from an era where a guy like him was considered a small guy. So he was not a fan of wrestling. Like, again, it goes back to when I started training. Right. I was wrestling guys who were bigger. They didn't want guys that were small because you had to have a certain look, or stylistically, they didn't like the guys doing too much.
It's harder to sell when you're a huge dude.
Oh, I would just hit guys for real at some point, dude. I didn't care because I was like, fuck, if they're gonna beat me up anyway, I might as well fight back. Like, what? Good. It's either I'm gonna get my ass kicked, or I get my ass kicked and I go down fighting. That's what it was after a while.
The big Kevin Nash type wrestlers, they love those 7-footers, those big 300-foot pounds.
Vince McMahon has I'm gonna speak very bad about Vince right
now.
No,
wait. Disclaimer: this has nothing to do.
Mike's not on the shot, but Vince has a huge heart-on for huge, big muscular
on the Rick Show.
So, Vince, I will be on the WWE Network if you need me to.
The Rick Show.
What's your favorite title that you've held? For big dudes like Hogan, Andre the Giant,
you said
super hard on.
Oh yeah.
And look at John Cena. Super hard on.
The simple fact, and I know that it was all promotional. The simple fact that they didn't want to allow Daniel Bryan to be the face of the company at the time is because they were still
little
stuck
guy.
up in the 80s where the wrestlers had to be 7 or 6 something feet tall. Meanwhile, this is the era of wrestlers who have more technical skill.
It's all athleticism now. Like, it's changed, man. It's funny because people talk about the 205 Live and the Cruiserweight. Back when WCW was doing it, the reason that
was the best thing of Nitro, by the way. I'm sorry.
I agree.
The best thing of Nitro.
The names brought you in, but those guys kept you watching because they were doing crazy stuff. But the thing is, like, now, what I've noticed is, like, okay, it's harder for the Cruiserweights to do that stuff when the guys in the main event can do that stuff. Yeah. So we got guys like Finn Balor and Seth Rollins doing all this.
Balor's still a little guy to me, in my eyes.
No, but he is. But like, in comparison, like, Seth is not like your typical heavyweight. I mean, the guy is tall.
Right. Love Seth Rollins.
He's amazing. I'm doing.
If we're talking about untypical, like heavyweights that are not typical, yes, I'm a fan, and there's a little bias. But if we're gonna give shout outs to the Undertaker, who would do the
He's
walk,
fucking dead already.
who jumps over the ropes.
Wait, the Undertaker's dead?
No.
Undertaker's not character. He is not character.
The only person that's not dead crazy is the Undertaker.
Actually, he dies all the time.
Yeah, he comes back all the time. Wait, his character, how the fuck that works?
No, what happens is
I'm waiting for him to come back as the underdog, though. That's why we're
until that whole time when he came back from that injury, that's really why he became the underdog. He was flying off of ropes. He was doing stuff that the smaller guys would do at virtually 7 foot tall, 300 pound
Remember
guy.
the thing, the old school, where he walks on the rope? And he was like one of these first 7-footers that could do those kind of moves.
And it meant a lot when he did it because you never saw it. And then the guys like Vader started doing,
the Vader bomb.
Rest in peace, Vader. Vader's dead, right?
Yeah, Vader.
He's
dead.
dead.
Rest in peace, Vader.
He's dead in that one match with Undertaker with all the blood.
So, Mike, let me ask you.
Sure.
When will we see you on WWE? Is that what's next?
Is that the goal?
Colossal Mike Law.
It's always the goal. Like I said before, man. Like Booker T asked this question. I remember thinking like he probably like this guy's an imbecile. Like he probably like I don't know maybe. But I always said to myself like. And I see a lot of the indie guys, indie wrestlers like myself, and they put in it's either WWE or nothing. And believe me, man, I think anyone who gets an opportunity to perform for them, be on TV. I did some extra work for them a year ago, and it was amazing. That thing is so well put together. It is a machine. There's a reason why Vince McMahon is on top of the world with that. It's just it's put together so well, dude. Like, it's a machine. It's a live-action movie come to life with the WWE. And I'm the other Ring of Honor. Right? Shout out to those guys. The same thing. I think they have their stuff together. New Japan. But there's plenty of opportunities now. I said to myself, I want to be able, to continue to perform at a high level, make money, be on a national level or international level, wherever that may be. I don't longer subscribe to the idea that it's either WWE or nothing. I think it's very unfair to put yourself in that situation. I've seen people do it. They fuck themselves mentally. And when they either get a tryout, they're not ready for it, or they take the tryout, they put their heart and soul, which we all should, and they don't get the opportunity because the WWE might not need you at that point. Somebody put, I think Adam Rose put this best. Vince McMahon's a director. WWE produces movies. If they need somebody for a bit part, or a major role, that's what they get. And you might be the best wrestler in the world. I think I'm real fucking good. If you ever seen me, I'm pretty damn good.
Go to YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Watch some of the matches.
Yes, she knows. She knows.
Shout out his fan club.
It's like one person.
President of the fan club is here.
It's like one person.
And then our t-shirts are here.
Yes. But
Alright.
you can get them at the storefrontier.com website. Colossal.
There you go.
There you go. Cheap plug. But yeah, man, I think the idea right now is just to get on any type of stage where, you know, I can just showcase what I can do, you know. And if it's NXT, WWE, hell yeah, man, I'd love it. If it's New Japan, Ring of Honor, you know, or it has to be the right opportunity. And I think now more than ever, it's foolish for people to limit themselves like, well, it's either this or nothing else. I've seen it, man. I've seen guys go in there, have a great tryout, and maybe that's not what they're looking for, dude. It happens. If you saw the movie,
I was about to say that. The
Fighting
movie
with My Family.
When he gives up on his
So I don't want to talk about the movie because I don't want to get sued by Vince.
No spoilers.
Actually,
No spoilers.
I have a question, but
Okay.
it had to do with
What's he
he's talking
gonna
about. He's talking about not to leave it to WWE.
It's Undertaker
not to
in
be-
this question.
No, it's no Undertaker. It actually has to do with. I'm gonna ask Mike his opinion on this. In your opinion, right now, who's probably the top dog in the independent?
And there's too much talent.
He
There's,
is.
I mean, yeah.
Fuck.
If you have to me, I have to say me. But
The Colossal Mike
I mean,
Law.
as far as guys,
Outside of Colossal Mike Law.
Outside of Mike-
Colossal
yeah.
Mike Law.
You know what I'm saying?
Cody Rhodes.
it's like my buddy was like,
Kenny
oh,
Omega.
so and so, man, they're taking over the scene, and I go, well, thanks for the support, buddy. Like, you tell me somebody else completely. I never heard of the guy that my friend was referring to,
All right, so let me rephrase the question.
other than myself.
What is the biggest right now? What is
Colossal
who's the most popular wrestler in the independent scene?
That's a hard one because there are a lot. Like, I mean, do you count the Cody Rhodes of the world or no? I don't know. Like,
Cody.
Right,
I don't
outside
know.
of
Kenny
who have
Omega,
not
Cody Rhodes.
actually been
Like-
part of the WWE promotion.
I
Outside of their
mean,
promotion.
I mean,
Omega.
Cody has been there, so. But
Yeah,
I
I
guess
love Cody.
if you were to talk about guys who've never been WWE who are huge, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks.
Okay.
I think Jay Lethal's phenomenal. Like, I think he's a guy that.
It's been wrestling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I spar with him. That dude is a cardio machine. I've never seen somebody just effortlessly wrestle for an hour, and that guy does it without breaking a sweat. It's insane athlete. I'm sure that I'm missing plenty. I mean, but like as far as independence, man, that's why I urge people to go to the indies, man, because those people that you're watching, myself or any of those people that you support on the independent level, those are the people you're gonna see in the WWE. You're gonna see them in New Japan, because that's where the breeding ground is.
Right.
Back, my only time with the WWE where I was like, about it was when they were signing a lot of these bigger guys. Not because they were bigger guys. I don't care. Like, I like those. For me, I feel you should have some physical prowess. I feel you should be able to, like, go to the gym. Like, I don't, like, I'm...
Braun Strowman.
Yeah. Like, the bigger, like, like, the dudes that were just bodybuilders. Yeah. My problem with that is they didn't give a fuck about wrestling. They were just there because they had a look. The fans will eat that up. They'll see right through it. There's no possible way that, especially now, with all the information out there, if you are a guy or girl who does not love pro wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, the fans will see right through it.
Right.
You will not last.
Right.
And if you do, it won't be. There's no longevity in it.
Right. That's why I say it's not Vince that makes the stars; it's the fan that makes the superstars.
So now that Benny spoke,
That's a good question. That's a good comment. Thank you.
Yes.
it's a good segue to my next question. So the look of the show, of the Rick Gay show, is Benny Banks. So we've interviewed different people in different industries, acting, directing with Justin, and Benny's always seemed very interested in that career. So would the look of our show make it in pro wrestling?
What?
The look of your show?
Yes.
Wait.
I mean, I was with the monkeys, yeah.
No, we're talking about him as a person.
Benny.
As a person,
Banks.
would he make it
Yeah,
in
the
wrestling?
Benny Banks.
Benny
the
the
look.
Banks.
The look?
Benny-
Benny the Banks.
I could see that.
Him in
Maybe a
tights.
manager? I don't know. You see,
Oh,
no.
him in
Wait,
tights.
hold on.
I said-
Me in tights?
Yes.
Oh, as a
That's
wrestler?
sick.
As a wrestler.
Sick.
Okay.
One
Me
piece.
and
Oh.
I one piece. Halfway on.
Like a Razor Ramon.
The giant status. Halfway on. Like
I
that.
mean-
I already got tight pants.
There you
No,
go.
tighter.
So
I was thinking
in your
more like
professional
I was
opinion,
thinking more like a bold down with the.
You'll cut off the circulation.
Wouldn't he
I know,
make it?
bro.
I wouldn't say no to him. Like, I feel like it's one of those things where it's all subjective. Like,
Okay.
people, you know, like wrestling nowadays, it's not what it used to be in the 80s, 90s, where it's like, all right, if you were 6'5" and, you know, jacked, well, that guy was a wrestler. Nowadays, it's just changed. The whole paradigm has changed. Like,
Right.
you could look at guys that, you know, like a Kevin Owens or Samoa Joe, like guys like that. They're not your stereotypical.
Shout out to those two. I love those two.
Those guys are great, man.
I hate
Oh.
Samoa Joe.
Joe's a great dude, by the way.
He
He
is?
took me to the side to talk to me. So
Really?
I was only gonna
Shout
say,
out
very,
to
very
Samoa
good
Joe.
guy.
Shout out to
no,
Samoa
no,
Joe.
you know
I was
why?
gonna make
I
a
like
statement.
Don't shut up,
Samoa
please.
Joe looks like the guy that he works in the office. I'm
Damn.
sorry.
We just shouted the
Which
man
guy
out.
that works in the
Sorry.
office?
He's the guy that like.
He works at an office?
He's the guy that.
Wait, what?
He's the guy that sent to fix the printer.
No,
I can tell you
Deuce
Samoa Joe
brought
is
it.
definitely not that from all of a sudden. He's a tough dude.
No, what happened? What happened with that thing with him and that he messed up this dude's neck?
Who?
Which dude?
That he was this
Oh,
guy's
TJ Wilson, Tyson Kidd.
Tyson Kidd.
Oh,
dude.
Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
With injuries like that, man, it's a freak injury. That shit just happened. Like I think he's like a muscle buster, but
Oh, yeah.
but TJ I think had a pre-existing injury. Same thing with Pedro Aguayo with Rey Mysterio. That guy's neck was literally like probably just done.
Yeah,
And,
it had to be. Yeah.
you know,
Damn.
there's no way because you know how many people's
Yeah.
taking that as hesitancy or not died. Like that was
Yeah.
just injuries, man. You gotta you have to get yourself checked out, man. Like I know I do every year, every couple months. If I thank God.
I hope so.
Got him, man. Thank you for your concern.
I fucking hope so.
I appreciate that.
Mike, where can we catch you wrestling? If we have a car and we're gonna drive out, where's the
Go to
next-
Capital Wrestling. That's like my kind of my home promotion. They're based out of Hoboken, New Jersey. We
Oh
will be
shit, that's right there.
literally,
All right.
literally across the bridge. I hope Capital Wrestling. They actually will be running in Newark, I think, something like that. WrestleMania Day, so they'll have an afternoon show.
Oh,
Don't worry about it. You'll have enough time to go to WrestleMania. It's only about 15 minutes away from the
Okay.
venue. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, we're not running head to head. That'd be
that'd be
psychotic.
stupid. So I'm gonna make you a promise, Mike.
Please.
If Ring of Honor, New Japan Wrestling, NXT, I'll be your ring manager, the mouthpiece.
Oh.
I'll be the one pulling the guy's leg when, I'll get you the distraction, whatever it may
Oh
be.
my God.
I'll have Benny come out in a G-string and distract the guy too.
I will do it.
That would distract me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That would be distracting for all the wrong reasons.
Promise
Come
me.
in the ring with a G-string just
Yeah.
and run out of the ring.
Why not?
Thank you,
I'll be
Colossal
on
Mike
Grease
Law,
Nice.
for
I'm
coming
gonna
out.
play this before.
Hey, get off your phone. You can hear me.
I want to thank Benny Banks, Paulie B, Justin, Craze Boogie, Robbie Rob,
Let's point at each other. Like
John,
Yeah.
Gene,
we're cool.
Erica,
Mike.
Braidcom, anybody who
Everybody.
has something to do with our show. A little Daniel, he's been here a couple times.
Shout out.
Oh, my guest in 2 episodes is here. E-Man is here, the baseball guru.
Let's give it up to everybody.
25th episode, hopefully 25 more. I don't know. We're about to get canceled though. So thank you for coming out. We'll see you next season
I'm
for
quitting
more
this
stuff.
Yeah, my career's over,
Rick
guys.
show. Rick show.
Yeah, marvelous. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my Frank Lucas shit. 3-piece suits, Valentino cufflinks, LV shoes. I bring the shorty closer, just enough to feel the gun on the holster. Out on the balcony, feeling on the breeze. City skylines, we're puffing on some trees. Cup of Henny on the rocks with the soda. Maybach, front of the building with the chauffeur. Yeah, and he waiting on me. Got umbrella in his hands and my name in the seats. No gift, baby, no thanks, no chinchillas, baby. So what happened to Frank? No phone calls, transactions hand in hand. Give the drugs to Rick, the money to Benny Banks. Talk to Crazy, he talks to me. Keep my business out the streets. It's the ART.